Commodore Thex reviewed the outcomes of the recent battle drill as his task forces maneuvered back to their designated positions after executing a series of simulated combat scenarios and fleet tactics. He noted with satisfaction that reaction times had improved by 5% and combat targeting accuracy had risen by 7%. A solid performance for Naval Reserve units, but Thex believed they could do better. Tapping commands into the console, he ordered another drill to be programmed into the simulator for the next shift. As he studied the holographic display at the bridge's center, showing the fleet realigning into standard formations, his thoughts drifted to 4 months prior. A furious envoy had returned from Elani space, demanding a retaliatory strike on the Elani homeworld for defying Commonwealth orders, failing to pay taxes, and permitting a foreign military presence. Leveraging his influence and family ties, the envoy nearly swayed the government into action, until news of the Xenon rebellion shocked the Commonwealth's leadership. Never before had a member system rebelled or taken up arms against the Commonwealth since its founding. Parliament erupted in outrage, sidelining the Elani issue as the Xenon crisis dominated discussions. Alarms rang through the government and Admiralty, with calls for a punitive expedition to crush the Xenon and deter other members from secession. The Commonwealth could not afford to lose the Xenon system's night deposits, critical for null space drives and comprising over 60% of the Commonwealth's refined output. The Xenon's seizure of over 50 Commonwealth warships was an affront demanding swift retribution. Thex felt a quiet relief at the Xenon rebellion's timing, suspecting the Admiralty shared his sentiment. Scans from the envoy's ship and its escorts had revealed the Republic's formidable fortifications in the Elani system. Hundreds of warships, 5 massive shipyards, and planetary defense networks rivaling those of the core worlds. Thex marveled at the data circulated among the Admiralty, privately stunned by the Republic's military buildup. His interest in humans dated back to their first contact. He had studied their history and culture as they rapidly ascended to middle power status. Like his people, the Newly, humans were a warrior race with a storied tradition of martial prowess. This similarity had prompted the Newly to be among the few to vote for human admission to the Commonwealth, a motion vetoed by the majority. The Republic's honor shone when they offered to aid the Commonwealth against the insectoids, despite their rejection. An offer Thex and many Newly admirals lamented the government's short-sighted refusal to accept, especially as insectoids ravaged Commonwealth space. Thex recalled the stunned silence in the conference room when a spy drone's footage revealed the insectoid fleet's destruction in the Elani system. The same fleet that had crippled the Commonwealth Navy was annihilated by a Republic fleet displaying skill and ferocity far surpassing Commonwealth capabilities. When the recording ended, a storm of accusations and disbelief erupted among officials, advisors, and officers grappling with the display of human prowess. Thex's only thought was how gravely the Commonwealth had erred in rejecting the humans. Returning his gaze to the holographic display where his task forces completed their formations, Thex wished his orders had fallen to another. He had no desire to fight the Xenon, though he relished the challenge of testing their mettle. He understood their reasons for rebellion. Sighing, he instructed his subordinate to flash the fleet to the next waypoint, 1.5 parsecs from the Xenon homeworld. There, he would conduct another round of drills before entering the Xenon system to reclaim it for the Commonwealth. The following day, as Thex completed his exercise routine, alert sirens blared, summoning the crew to battle stations. Still in his workout robe, he sprinted to the bridge, where the holographic display populated with sensor data. 120 Republic warships, organized into 15 task forces of 8 ships each, had emerged from null space, encircling his fleet and blocking all avenues of maneuver. As Thex settled into his command chair, querying the battle computer for options, the communications officer shouted, "Commodore, we're receiving a transmission from the Republic ships." Thex nodded to open the channel. An emotionless voice declared, "Greetings, this is Command Unit 11-3. You are violating the territorial accords of 2173 and the Treaty of Elania. This alliance requires the Republic to defend Xenon territory. You have 1 solar minute to disarm all weapons and initiate core shutdown protocols. Non-compliance will result in combat operations. Thank you for your cooperation." Thex stared at the countdown on the holographic display, reeling from the revelation of a Xenon Republic alliance. Snapping out of his shock, he ordered the channel reopened and responded, "This is Commodore Thex of the 2nd Commonwealth Fleet. We do not recognize your claims to this space. Withdraw or face the consequences of violating Commonwealth territory." Closing the channel, he commanded all weapons charged and selected a defensive strategy from the battle computer's options, distributing it to the fleet. His hands trembled as he activated the controls, the weight of engaging the Republic's formidable forces threatening to overwhelm him. As the countdown reached 30 seconds, Thex frowned at the scans. The Republic ships phased in and out of space, evading targeting locks. A chill ran through him as he recalled the spy drone footage of these ships obliterating the insectoid fleet with devastating precision. At 10 seconds, he frantically ordered an emergency flashout, knowing most ships lacked time to charge their capacitors. When the countdown hit 0, half the Republic task forces accelerated with blinding speed, breaking the few targeting locks his scanners had achieved. The remaining Republic ships flashed into null space, reappearing 2 seconds later within his battle lines, already firing. The ships that flashed in wove toward the outskirts, while those that hadn't flashed struck the fleet's edges, converging in the center. Their coordinated assault left dozens of Commonwealth ships shattered or crippled. Thex watched in horror as the Republic ships flashed out and back in 2 seconds later, now in groups of 4, targeting his strongest warships. They swarmed with lethal precision, dismantling his heavy hitters effortlessly. His flagship came under fire, and his escorts fell to the Republic's relentless defensive barrages. A core overload warning flashed on the display. Thex ordered all hands to abandon ship, assisting wounded and fallen bridge crew to life pods. He waited until the last survivors ejected before entering his own pod. Glancing at the flickering holographic display, he saw a scene of devastation. Over 75% of his 300-ship fleet was destroyed or combat ineffective, with thousands of life pods drifting amid the wreckage. Surviving ships with functional flash drives escaped into null space, while others broadcast surrender, powering down weapons and scramming cores. Inside his life pod, Thex noted the battle time, 16 minutes, 31 seconds. Enemy losses were stark. 6 Republic ships confirmed destroyed, 21 damaged. "We never had a chance," he thought, sealing the pod and slamming the eject button. G-forces pressed against him as the pod blasted away from his dying flagship, accelerating to escape the imminent core explosion. Minutes later, he used positional thrusters to face his battleship, watching it erupt in a miniature supernova, tears streaming down his face. The Republic ships ceased fire upon receiving surrender broadcasts, retreating to station-keeping positions 100,000 kilometers away. They maintained target locks on the remaining Commonwealth vessels, repeating every 30 seconds in the same emotionless voice, "Thank you for ceasing hostilities. Republic search and rescue ships are en route and will arrive shortly. Please remain calm and activate transponders to assist in your rescue." Drifting in his life pod, Thex whispered a prayer to his ancestors, asking them to guide the souls of his fallen crew across the river to the afterlife. Activating his transponder, he saw null space exit flashes as Republic rescue ships arrived, deploying shuttles. Tractor beams locked on to surviving Commonwealth vessels, towing them away, while shuttles tethered life pods, reeling them into brightly lit bays. Thex's pod jerked as it was tethered, drawn toward a shuttle bay. He whispered another prayer, beseeching his ancestors for strength to avenge the 350,000 sailors lost under his command and the destruction of over half the Commonwealth fleet. As he neared the bay, his thoughts hardened into a vow for vengeance against those responsible for this catastrophic defeat.